Hello everyone, it's Broken Doll here with a tutorial on how to tie the Teardrop Futo. I've had several requests on how to tie this, so I thought it would be fun to make a video tutorial and then we could just tie it together. So I'm gonna get started with that. I had a couple comments that people were having trouble following the rope because I was using a multicolored rope and the change in color or transition made it more difficult to see what I was doing. So I'm going to use, I believe this is Black Light Lemon. It's Dyadics fluorescent or black lit yellow rope. You can find it on his website. I'm using it in 40 feet. So I'm just gonna get started. Hopefully this is enough of a contrast that you can see what I'm doing. First I'm gonna just find the bite of my rope. All that means is I put the two ends of my rope together and found the center of my rope and then folded it in half to create this loop. I'm going to do a single column tie around my ankle and I'm gonna secure it with a Somerville bowline. So if you don't know how to do that, I'll do like a quick explanation right now. So I'm gonna take the rope and go behind my ankle and bring the two ends, both my bite and the working end, forward. I'm gonna cross them with my bite on top. And I'm gonna leave myself some length here because I'm gonna need it in a minute. So I would just note, I'm only doing one wrap around my ankle. This is gonna be more than sufficient for just a floor tie for what I'm doing today. If I was going to suspend with a Futo, one wrap would not be enough. It wouldn't distribute the pressure enough, so this would not be safe for suspension. This isn't a suspension tutorial, so I just wanted to make you aware that this is not a safe way to suspend. Right now, my working end is traveling away from my body, and I'm gonna create a loop or like a roundabout around the bite. So I'm gonna take my working end, I'm gonna bring it over the top of it and then back under so that it crosses over itself and continues to travel away from my body. So its end direction is the same as where it started, and I have this loop around my bite now. And I'm gonna hold this loop open while I work with my bite. So for my bite, I'm gonna bring it down under this loop I just created and through the wrap around my ankle. So it's gonna travel and come out up here. Once I have my bite back through the top, I'm going to put it through that loop that I've been holding open and pull it tight. And that completes our single column tie around our ankle. So this is now secure and it's not going to go anywhere. The design is going to be on my inner thigh. So I'm going to hide the loop from my Somerville bowline by wrapping my initial wraps around the back. So I'm just going to do 2 wraps around the back, around my leg. So I'm going to start. I like to have my initial wrap in a Futo as close to my grain as possible. Some people like it up a little bit. That's where I like my placement, so whatever is comfortable for you on that. But I'm just gonna do 2 initial wraps for the base of the Futo. And now I'm gonna do a 3rd wrap, but this is where we're actually gonna start the teardrop. So my 3rd wrap is not going to be all the way down touching my initial wraps because I'm gonna start that design where the wraps spread out a bit. So now to create the base of the teardrop, I'm going to bring my working end over towards my ankle, and now I'm gonna hold my working end and create an L shape and bring it under all of the wraps that I just did. But I want my working end to come up towards my thigh. So as you can see, here's that L that we were holding, and now I'm gonna pull my working end all of the way through, if I can find it. So this is what we look like right now. And then I'm gonna allow it to get pulled tight, and I'm gonna cross my working end back over where we started. and then continue around my leg. Now when I come back this time, we're gonna do the same thing. Because we're creating the teardrop shape, we're gonna bring the working end over to our ankle side. And now this time, I'm gonna come underneath this little loop that we just created. So my rope is gonna come from this direction. It's gonna go behind all sides and it's gonna come out over here. So I'm gonna hook my rope and pull it under everything. And I'm gonna pull it out on the side by my thigh. And now normally when I tie Futos, I like them really tight, but because we're trying to get that teardrop design, we actually don't want to pull too tight. We want it to be secure, but we don't want the rope to bunch up on itself. So I'm going to make sure that my line's secure, but that I'm not pulling too tight as I bring the rope back over itself. And now we're going to head around our leg and come back for the next wrap. So now we're just doing the same thing. We're going to continue to go through at the exact same place every time because we're building out to create that teardrop shape. So this is where we went through before. And that's where we're going to go through again. So I'm going to bring my finger under so I can grab my rope. And I'm going to pull it through at that exact same location down at the base of my Futo. And again, the same thing. I don't want to pull this, I don't want to pull this too tight because I want the rope to build out. So I'm actually going to encourage the rope to come under these base wraps here so that they lay nicely on the outside of my last circle that I created. And then I'm going to bring it around itself and then back around. Now I'm not weaving here. I'm just, the rope on my thigh is constantly going over the rope that's over on my ankle side. It's just going to create a kind of a weaved look because of the pattern, but there's no actual weaving happening. So I'm going to bring it around again, and we're just doing the exact same thing. It's the same pattern over and over again. So I'm going to bring my working end over to my ankle, and I'm going to bring it under this initial wrap. It's getting kind of tight to try and pull it from here, so I'm actually going to bring it down under the first wraps that we did. I'm going to straighten out my line before I go any further, make sure that it's not twisted. And now I'm going to bring it up on this side, on my thigh side. And now, because I messed up some of my rope, I'm just going to reposition everything, make sure that it's secure around my thigh, but still loose enough that it's laying on the outside of my last teardrop. And then once I have the rope the way that I like it, I'm going to bring it back up over to my shin and around. And I think I have enough rope for one more wrap, so let's go ahead and do it one more time. I'm going to bring it over to my ankle. I'm going to bring it under my initial wrap on my ankle side. Pull that all the way through. Make sure I don't have any twists in my rope and reposition everything. And then I'm going to bring it over to my thigh and pull it back up and through so I can do my next teardrop. And then it looks like everything is nice and positioned how we want it. So I'm going to bring my working end back around my shin. And then I'm going to tie off on the back. So the back is just a series of straight lines. I didn't do anything weird. Here's our Somerville bowline knot there. I'm just going to check to make sure my spacing is how I like it and reposition the spacing, which we can actually do after we tie it off also. And then all I'm going to do is just like your normal Futo that you would tie, I'm just going to do a series of hitches down to secure it all off. And be a little bit careful. Again, this is not as tight as you tie a normal Futo because you're trying to maintain that teardrop shape. So you want to be gentle when you're tying it down. So all that I'm doing is I brought my working end over the line that I'm going to tie my hitch to. I'm going to bring uh, the working end underneath that line towards my shin and back up. Then I'm going to cross over itself and bring it back down to just secure that off. And you can continue doing that pattern all the way down, or you can just tuck the rope in, whatever you want to do. Then we're left with our teardrop on the front of our leg. That's it for the Teardrop Futo. If you have any questions about how to tie this or something that I did, please feel free to message me and I'll try to help you as best I can. Otherwise, have fun tying. Thanks.